I shouldn't have joked about it. Not like that. Not in front of him. It started as a harmless laugh over dinner, a joke I thought would show how open and secure our marriage was. But the second the words left my mouth, I saw something in my husband's eyes shift. The warmth dimmed, the corners of his smile faltered. And before I knew it, that one joke cracked open a truth I was never ready to face. "Relax, Daniel," I said, chuckling as I reached for another piece of garlic bread. "You're not seriously jealous of Ethan, are you? He's practically my brother." Daniel didn't laugh. He just stared at his plate, pushing a piece of chicken around with his fork. "I didn't say I was jealous," he murmured. "I just don't get why you bring him up so much lately. Every story, every text, every weekend plan somehow has Ethan in it." I rolled my eyes. "Oh, come on. He's my best friend. You knew that before we even got married." He nodded slowly, still not meeting my eyes. "Yeah. But before it felt different." Something in his tone made my smile falter. Different. It was such a simple word, yet it hung heavy in the air, like an accusation dressed as a whisper. That night I couldn't sleep. Daniel's words echoed in my mind as I scrolled through my phone, landing on the last message Ethan had sent. "You looked beautiful today. I wish we could have stayed longer." A message I hadn't replied to. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't know how to. The truth was, Ethan had been in my life for 10 years. We'd met in college, been inseparable since. He was the first person I called when I landed a new job, when my mother got sick, when Daniel proposed. Ethan had been my constant. But lately he'd become something else. He'd started saying things that made my heart race for all the wrong reasons. Compliments that lingered too long. Messages that blurred the line between best friend and something far more dangerous. And though I never encouraged him outright, I hadn't exactly stopped him either. Because somewhere deep down, in a part of me I wasn't proud of, I liked the attention. The next morning Daniel was quiet. He made coffee, read the paper, and avoided conversation. I hated the silence. "Hey," I said softly, touching his arm. "Are you mad about last night?" He glanced up, eyes tired. "No. Just thinking." "About what?" He hesitated. "About whether you'd still joke like that if you knew how much it hurts." My throat tightened. "Daniel, it was a joke. Ethan and I." "Don't," he interrupted, voice sharp. "Don't tell me you're just friends. I've seen the way he looks at you." That stung. "You're imagining things." He set his mug down and finally met my eyes. "Am I?" 2 days later, Daniel said he had to work late. That wasn't unusual. He was a project manager and often stayed at the office past 9. So when Ethan texted me asking if I wanted to grab dinner, I said yes. We met at a small Italian place downtown. The kind with dim lights and slow music. The kind that felt too intimate for friends, but I didn't let myself think about that. Ethan smiled when I arrived, standing up to hug me. "You look amazing as always." I laughed it off, brushing his arm. "You always say that." "Because it's always true." We ordered pasta and wine, slipping into our usual rhythm. Laughter, teasing, stories. But every now and then his hand brushed mine across the table, and each time it lingered a second too long. Halfway through dinner he leaned in. "You know, if I didn't know better, I'd think your husband doesn't deserve you." "Ethan," I warned softly. "I'm serious," he said, voice low. "You light up around me. I don't see that when you talk about him anymore." Froze. Before I could answer, a voice behind me said, "Maybe that's because she doesn't talk about me when she's with you." Turned, and there he was, Daniel, standing at the entrance of the restaurant. His face unreadable. My heart dropped into my stomach. He took a slow step forward, eyes flicking between us, between my wide-eyed guilt and Ethan's half-smirk that vanished as soon as Daniel's gaze landed on him. "Daniel, this isn't." He held up a hand. "Save it, Claire." The quiet in that moment was deafening. The clinking of glasses, the murmur of other diners. It all faded. All I could hear was the pounding in my chest. I thought I was paranoid, Daniel said calmly. I thought maybe I was overreacting. But you told me not to worry. You laughed when I said I didn't like how close you were. And here you are. Tears blurred my vision. It's not what it looks like. He laughed bitterly. That line never gets old. Daniel, please. We were just talking. Then why do you look guilty? He snapped. His voice cracked. Why does it feel like I already lost you? I reached for him, but he stepped back. Do you know what hurts most? He whispered. It's not even this dinner. It's the fact that I felt it happening weeks ago, and you made me feel crazy for noticing. He turned to leave and panic gripped me. Daniel, please. Don't walk away. I didn't do anything wrong. He stopped but didn't look back. That's the thing, Claire. You didn't have to. Sometimes betrayal isn't about what you do. It's about what you let happen. And then he walked out. That night, I sat in the silence of our home, staring at the half-empty wine glass on the table. His words kept replaying. It's about what you let happen. He was right. Ethan texted, then called, then showed up at my door. I didn't mean for it to go like that, he said. He's overreacting. I looked at him, really looked at him, and realized how blind I'd been. The smirk, the subtle possessiveness, the way he'd always pushed just a little too far. He's not overreacting, I said quietly. You knew what you were doing, Ethan. And I let you. His expression fell. Claire, come on. Leave, I whispered. Please. When he finally left, I sat there in the dim light of the living room until sunrise, surrounded by the weight of my own choices. Days passed. Then weeks. Daniel didn't come home. He stayed at a hotel near his office, saying he needed space. I tried calling, texting, even driving to see him, but he wouldn't answer the door. One night he finally replied, You didn't cheat, Claire. But you stopped choosing me long before that dinner. And I can't keep loving someone who already belongs halfway to someone else. That message broke me more than shouting ever could. It's been 3 months now. I still wear my wedding ring, though the tan line beneath it has already faded. I still replay that dinner in my mind. The laugh that started it all, the silence that followed, the look in Daniel's eyes when he realized what I refused to admit. Sometimes betrayal doesn't come in the form of lies or stolen kisses. Sometimes it's the slow drift of attention, the quiet replacement of one heart with another, so gradual you don't even notice until it's too late. And every time I catch myself scrolling through old photos of us, laughing, touching, safe, I hear his voice again. It's not about what you did. It's about what you let happen. And that's what truly leaves me speechless.